What up? What up? What up? Welcome back.
What's going on, everybody?
In this video, we're using our hydroponic system. This is a Vivo Sun hydroponic indoor system. I think it's indoor, but anyways, we're using that to start some herbs. We're using seeds and cuttings. The cuttings come from sage and rosemary from outside.
And then what are the seeds we're doing? We're doing
Thyme, parsley, and cilantro, I believe.
So wild, crazy story. We were debating on what we were gonna put out for the past 2-3 weeks.
Yeah,
we were not sure, and
but the weather didn't help either. That's really why we weren't sure.
It
goes from hot, and then for some reason, every Saturday or Sunday or Monday, it gets a cold snap out of nowhere. But anyways,
so we were talking to one of our coworkers, Miss Griffin, and she was telling us how most of her plants had died out. Right.
Yep.
So we thought, let's nice bring it back together.
Yeah, to help her out with that, because she does a lot for us. So we figured we help her out with that. Get her some nice aromatics for her room, and we figured some nice things would be that sage and that rosemary that we got up there up top.
But then we also decided let's add citronella just to
spruce it up a little bit. So yeah, so for the stuff on the top, it's more so we're gonna let that sit for 6-7 weeks, and then we'll put those in some pots, and then hopefully by that time they should have some roots, and we can put those in some pots and give them to her. And for the other stuff on the second row, on the bottom where we put the seeds in, we're going to let those stay in about 6 to 7 weeks as well, and take those outside, and those will be transplanted to the garden.
Now, as you saw us pick up a random plant, start turning it around, and eventually cut it in half. So that is one of our golden pothos that we have growing, and we use for propagating. And sometimes we get together and we're like our students. We just do stuff.
Yes, absolutely, for no reason at all.
So we decided, let's see if the pothos could grow better roots and grow well in the hydroponic system.
Mm-hmm. Man, these chips are good. What about?
Y'all, the frosting got us.
Got us bad. Got us about, I want to say 2 or 3 different. No, that junk hit 3 different times back to back.
We're supposed to be in spring?
Man, spring, winter, spring, winter, spring, winter, 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 spring. That's where we at.
Man, shout out to the 229.
Shout out to all Biddy. Surviving the winter. It snowed one time too, didn't it?
Oh my God.
Yeah, so everything that y'all saw in past videos that we planted as far as seedlings goes,
they gone.
It's everything
down. Bye.
The only thing that made it is collard greens and turnips, and they don't even count because they frost tolerant.
A Reaver dirt cheap.
Yep. So we're having to start over, and we had to start over with what plants? What do we have?
Out of the survival garden pack that we have, I think we ended up doing bell peppers again, corn, cucumbers, eggplant. We did more lettuce. I don't even know.
Not eggplant. We didn't do eggplant.
We didn't do eggplant. Mm-hmm. We did kale though.
Yeah, we did do kale
and cucumbers and corn. I said that. I might have said that. I don't know. Anywho, we had to redo all that.
Yeah, we had to do all. So that's what we're doing now. We're doing all of those different things, putting those in containers, and hopefully this time we won't get snowed out, colded out, rained out.
And real quick disclaimer, y'all. I realized halfway through the video, my knees and back and what they used to be.
My back was hurting. That's why we.
Yeah, that's what we ended up saying now, bro. Like that miss hurt.
All right, so back to the story about Miss Griffin. Well, shout out to Andre. Andre Thompson joined us, but back to the story about Miss Griffin. So I was at Home Depot looking at some stuff like I always do, and I ran across this plant called the caladium, and I got it, and I was like, oh, she'll like this. And so I went to work and I asked her about it. She was like, oh, that's actually one of my favorite plants. And I was like, yes, right on the money. So I've got, we did 2 pots of caladiums, and they actually, I don't know how the bulbs look. They kind of look like they weren't too good, but we'll see how they turn out. But The other plants were.
I don't know, bro. You might have some caladiums just growing around your place.
I ended up throwing
We
some
just started
bulbs,
throwing
and
them
I
everywhere.
didn't think they were good. Just throw them in the garden. So we'll see.
Yeah, but other than caladiums, we also did another pothos because I told y'all we had them growing everywhere. Yeah, but we did another pothos, and I had some other plants. I'm not sure what it is. I cannot remember, but it had nice pink leaves. And I thought that would work really well if it grows back, If it does, it does. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But I put it in with the pothos knowing the pothos is gonna just take over just about everything. So, yeah, that'll work out. We also did a peace lily. Not necessarily a peace lily, but
We took one of the roots out of a bigger peace lily, and trying to propagate it to see if we can grow a totally different one out of that.
Because as we said earlier, the frost killed everything, and the frost just killed out the peace lily. So we checked the root system, and it was still doing something. So we decided to just hunk a chunk out of it and put it in the pot.
Basically, that was pretty much for that one. The next thing we had was a snake plant that we bought about a year ago. There's actually one plant, but when we took the soil and everything out of it, it was actually 3 different plants. So we broke 2 different pieces off of the main one and put those in separate pots.
Yeah. And then we realized that we took all the pots that we distributed specifically for Miss Griffin and used them up.
Yep.
So that's when you see us just run off real quick.
And we're scrambling and we're looking for pots.
We're looking for pots. And then we also realized we don't have enough soil. So
we're also mixing together. Well, you'll see me down there mixing up a little concoction, and that special blend is a 50-50 mixture of perlite and vermiculite with a little bit of seasoning on there. And that seasoning is some Mycos along with some 10-10-10 fertilizer. I'm a gardeners know what that 10-10-10 fertilizer is. And you don't get that under.
That's what, and hopefully, that'll do what it needs to do to help grow that. And then we'll gift that to Miss Griffin.
Yep.
We'll give y'all an update on that when it happens.
I want to say the last thing we planted was rosemary and what's that other one? Citronella, rosemary and citronella. So we took some cuttings and we put those in pots because we know how to do those. So what you saw earlier with the hydroponic system, that's really an experiment. We don't know how that's going to turn out, but we know how it's going to turn out with the pots in the soil, with the closed bottom end, with the soil retaining with the water retaining the moisture or whatever. So that's going to work out. We're going to actually use those and keep that in there. And the very last part of the video, you'll see me doing our vining plants. So that's the watermelon, that's the cucumber, that is, I think I got some pumpkin in there, and there's one more, which is cantaloupe. So all of those put in a pot, and that's the last little set of container seeds that we have going on the inside, and they'll be going on the seedling mat up under the seed light as well. And when those sprout, we'll be able to give those a couple weeks, and they'll be going outside for the spring garden.
It's the last part of the video because I forgot in the other part to put it all and cut it out.
Oh yeah, so that's why he kind of runs out towards the
that's
towards the end of the
That's
video.
not my fault. That's Coach T fault. That's Coach P fault. That ain't even my fault.
You're right. But we ain't gonna.
Shout out to Coach P.
That's a whole nother story. Shout out to my boy JP, man. Shout out to my boy JP. Hopefully he sees this.